third season calling Indiana football, and he finally gets to call a national championship. I mean, he had to have thought, well, that's just for everybody else.
Yeah.
And there he was, sitting there getting to call a national title. It was a cool shot because everyone in the booth, all the spotters, were kind of doing the fist bump.
And he got left hanging.
Someone finally got him at the end, but it was very cool.
Yeah. Congratulations to the Indiana Hoosiers. We'll talk about that, what it means really for a lot of the local folks here in a second. Give you the lineup coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. Of course, we'll wrap things up with Gary Parrish, our college basketball insider. Sam McDowell, columnist for the Kansas City Star, will be with us in the 4 o'clock hour. Matt Derrick, talking some Chiefs football as the coaching staff continues to take shape. We'll talk to Matt Derrick in the 3 o'clock hour, publisher of Chiefs Digest. It's coming up a little bit later on here. Very pleased. A couple of special guests. First of all, we have, I guess, do it. Who first?
I probably would go with the Royals Hall of Fame.
Okay, Alex Gordon, Royals Hall of Famer, will be with us.
A1.
Yeah, will join us here coming up in a little bit, along with the College Baseball Foundation CEO and Executive Director. I have the acronym written out, so I have to remember what each one of the letters is. That is a title that Tom Jacobs carries. Yeah. They will both be here. We're excited to announce a partnership between Sports Radio 810 WHB and the College Baseball Hall of Fame. That's what the College Baseball Foundation has to do with, and of course out in the Prairie Fire location. That is coming this year. And very excited. Our buddy Kevin Timmons over at Nick and Jake's worked very hard on that. Was one of the people. Jamie Bluma worked very hard on getting the College Baseball Hall of Fame here. And we've got events coming up and all kinds of things going on. So excited to talk about that. We'll do it with Tom Jacobs, College Baseball Foundation CEO and Executive Director, and Alex Gordon, Royals Hall of Fame outfielder. And by the way, member of the College Baseball Hall of Fame, in addition to member of the Royals Hall of Fame. And on the ballot for the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame this year. So there's a lot of halls and much fame.
Yes, with Alex Gore. I used to think that, I heard maybe someone said, is there anybody who's in more Hall of Fames than Lamar Hunt?
No.
I say probably not, but
no.
Alex is trying to get into his third.
The answer is no. We saw Indiana win the national championship. We'll switch gears and talk some baseball coming up here in a little bit, but let's talk about this Indiana national championship. Biggest takeaway, what is it? What's the... I mean, you just heard great call there by Sean McDonough.
So good.
He's the best. Kevin Harlan. I'd say like if you had to give your what we say, starting five
current broadcasters on the radio,
radio and or TV. Yeah. I think Harlan, McDonough.
I really love the second
Schulman.
Yeah, the second guy who on Westwood One does the Monday night or the Sunday night games. Ryan Radke. Is fantastic. He's my favorite. I put Harlan like on a different level. He's always going to be there at the very top. So what's everyone else look like,
Yeah.
And because Harlan's the Beatles to me. And so who else? What are the other good groups? I love Ryan Radke. He's a guy whose name isn't that big because he didn't do TV, but he's fantastic. And yeah, you're right. Schulman and McDonough, Boog Shambi,
he's
great
very good
baseball guy. So those would be my five, I think.
Yeah, well, those are all good ones. There are some great ones out there. I think Mike Tirico's really good. Yeah. Just about anything he wants to do, I think Tirico's great.
He was really good Monday night.
Q's in the house. Two of them, by the way, he and Sean McDonough. There you go. I think Kevin's KU. Schulman, he's Canadian, but I don't know where did he go to school? But anyway.
Or Sunday night. He was fantastic in the Bears-Rams game.
Yeah.
He was so good.
Anyway, sidebar there. But what is the takeaway? I think one, immense pressure now put upon. No one has an excuse to not be successful. Like, you can't be like, well, you can only win 6 games at Kansas. No.
Yep.
Well, what Bill Snyder did, you can't do it. No. Now, I will talk about it, and we touched on this a little bit with Trent Green, and I'm compiling some more numbers. But just about the amount of money that is at a school may end up. You may have something that you really didn't want. That there's going to be the handful of schools that dominate won't just be SEC schools, or maybe even not many of them will be SEC schools, but they will be the schools with the most money, and we may have some Yankees that appear And one of those may be the Indiana Hoosiers with the largest alumni base in the country. More Indiana alumni than anybody else living right now. Is the numbers that is what's being thrown around. I have not counted. Not done a count. All right, Buckeye fans, hands up. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. I have not done that, but that's the kind of common theme. I know it's one of the biggest. And maybe that's it. Maybe what we're seeing is the dawn of a new day. I asked that yesterday when we were talking with Danny Cannell. Is this the new norm, or is this a one-off? And I gave an example of my Syracuse Orange, 1959 won a football championship. I don't know that the closest they've come since then is 1987 with an undefeated season and losing out to two undefeated teams. It was Miami and who played in 87? Were there three even?
Oklahoma.
Miami, Oklahoma played for the national championship.
For the national title, yeah.
And Syracuse went in and tied Auburn. Pat Dye settled for the tie in the Sugar Bowl against Syracuse. They finished 11-0-1, finished, I think, number 3 in the country. And so they come close once, I guess, one other time, but really they were never considered the equal to Oklahoma and Miami all that season. Yeah. And so, what I know about 1959 is that they had a black Heisman Trophy winner. They played Texas in a Cotton Bowl, and Texas had no black players. And in fact, would not integrate until 1970.
Amazing.
Okay, so there was a pool of talent that Syracuse was drawing on that other schools wouldn't, much like Lamar Hunt drew on the pool of talent coming from the historically black colleges.
HBCU.
HBCU, yeah, I want to get the letters right. HBCU schools, and that gave his team, and it gave a lot of AFL teams a boost because a lot of NFL teams, the Washington then Redskins, would not sign African-American players. There are those moments in time where it's like, okay, is this why it lined up? I think that was definitely part of why Syracuse got it done. In fact, Ernie Davis wasn't even the first. They'd already had Jim Brown finish 5th in the Heisman Trophy previous to Ernie Davis. So they'd been at it for a while. Give you an idea of how long it took for some schools to come around, the better part of 2 decades. But it's clear that Syracuse football, the stars lined up. They had a moment in time. They cashed. But year in, year out, it's not the football power that other schools are. Is that what this is for Indiana? Is this a moment where they hired a coach that had been looked over, which, by the way, we're finding more and more. Lance Leipold was looked over. Bo Ryan, the Wisconsin college basketball coach, looked over. Guys who won, Chris Kleiman, championship after championship at lower levels, they're like, oh, that's down there. They then get their shot and find out that, no, they can flat out coach. That's what part of what was going on with Curt Cignetti.
Yeah, hence the I win, Google me.
Yeah, the best. What most people are saying right now, we'll see if they're still saying it 3 years from now, but right now people are saying is he's the best coach in college football. We kind of had that on Kirby Smart, but no, it's Cignetti. And I think they like it more because they know that the talent isn't as overwhelming in Indiana, so they like the coaching part. I don't really care if you just overwhelm with talent because, let's be clear, Mario Cristobal almost did overwhelm with talent. I think he made some mistakes, which he usually does, in the game management, but he almost overwhelmed with talent. And we'll see if others can do that, either with the bankroll or their ability to identify the talent that's not as highly rated. But Curt Cignetti did a great job of identifying talent, developing talent, blending it into a team, and then I think his game day preparation, all of it. He's a tremendous football coach, and I have no problem saying Curt Cignetti's the best coach in college football. They weren't the biggest payroll, but they weren't the smallest either. Indiana put a lot of money behind it in getting this team together. But is this a moment where they found Curt Cignetti when he was overlooked by everybody else, and the explosion of the NIL and transfer portal came about? People are still trying to figure out the transfer portal. They're still trying to figure out the NIL. This year, many coaches in college football, most of them the ones that weren't playing in the playoffs, coaches like Chris Kleiman, who openly said to me at the Big 12 Media Days, well, I'll believe that they're policing it when I see it.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people that think that the deals are sketch now, that it is just pay for play. The idea that this small enforcement group is going through thousands and thousands of NIL deals and actually getting to the bottom of how the money is changing hands. They will tell you they think it's foolish to even think that they're coming close. I don't know what it is. Is it the Wild West? Sure it is, but that's the opportunity when real genius, and I go back to Matt Quatrero pointed it out when they changed a bunch of the baseball rules a couple of years ago at spring training. He's like, well, this is when you have the opportunity, because over years, we all figure it out. We all learn from whoever gets it right the first time. But right now, if we can get it right, we can get an advantage. Oh, by the way, he was in the playoffs that year.
Yeah.
So, I think my initial reaction is that this is a moment in time. Take nothing away from what Indiana or Curt Cignetti has accomplished. They won the championship. I'm not saying it's a lucky championship. It's not. It's maybe the most well-earned championship in the history of college football. But they have now shown how to do it. And the question is, will Indiana sustain the resources? Yes, big alumni base. Do they give checks? Or will Georgia go, oh, those two things, we weren't doing that. Now we'll do that too. And now we're back to being Georgia and you're back to being Indiana.
Yeah, I think
like that's what remains to be seen as time moves forward.
It's my first thought.
They're not going to suck, by the way, with Curt Cignetti.
Right.
They're not just going to go away.
Right. My first thought was what can the other middling programs copy from Indiana? But that's interesting. What can the programs who aren't middling, the top, can they copy something? And as much as I give Curt Cignetti a lot of credit, tons of credit for his coaching ability, the ability of his staff to scheme things up and to
identify talent, to develop talent, to blend talent.
But the most important player on that team was a guy who was a 3-star recruit when he came out of college and was considered when he arrived in Indiana.
Out of high school?
Out of high school, for Fernando Mendoza.
And he was 2, wasn't he?
I see 3 on 24/7. But when he acquired him, he was the number one, one of the top guys in the portal.
I would listen to that for even 2 seconds if that weren't going on everywhere. If he were the only guy to get that guy.
What I'm saying, I think a little too much is being made of how much of Indiana's success was coaching and how much of it was talent. I think that there was a lot more coaching probably than Miami, but he does have some talent there. I mean, there's some dudes.
Yes.
They're going to start filling the NFL draft over the next 3 or 4 years.
Not like
Miami.
No, but the higher end talent was on Miami.
But it isn't like he's. I think to some degree there's been a bit of an overcorrection that Curt Cignetti has taken a bunch of 3-star guys and going out and beating everyone's brains in with them.
Well, I know
his quarterback's going to be the number 1 overall pick of the draft. I mean, it's.
I know but the number one, Josh Allen wasn't lots of stars. I mean that happens at every position. We've chronicled it. The top 100, more than half of the top 100 generally don't get drafted at all.
Yeah.
Let alone end up being the first round picks.
Yeah.
So I'm not.
My only point was he didn't identify the talent of Fernando Mendoza as a high school player. He identified him as a college
junior. But why does that
which
matter?
Is a little different.
I don't understand why that's even a note because that's not the rule anymore.
Well, I know. What I'm saying is my point is only on how much of it was talent and how much of it was coaching. I mean, I think there's a little more talent than I think some people might want to put on Indiana. That was just a great coaching job, which it was, but he did have some dudes. Maybe a little bit better